Hello, my name is Josephine Wallace-Koonce, and this is my project-based learning video on how to write a business block cover letter, which will be taught in my Human Resource Development class. The outline is as follows. The students must adhere to academic standards that are set forth by the state of North Carolina. The oral and written language students must participate in discussions, interviews, and present their project with fluency and effectiveness, as well as follow directions. For technology use, the students must follow ethical guidelines for behavior, tools, and internet use. They must also abide by the fair use and multimedia copyright guidelines, citing sources of copyrighted materials in papers, projects, and multimedia presentations. The learning objectives for the project is adult learners will learn the purpose of a business block cover letter, how to write a business block cover letter, and why use a business block cover letter. The design activities will be followed by a pre-assessment questionnaire, which will include, have you ever written a business block cover letter? If so, what format did you use? And after the pre-assessments, the students will rough draft two letters and submit them to the instructor for proofreading. After proofreading, the students will then type and address their BBCL to the HRD Special Projects Coordinator and the North Carolina Employment Security Commission for special review and approval before submitting to employers. The students will have the opportunity to collaborate in a group setting for knowledge and understanding. Internet resources will be provided, and there are three websites that are used in this project video, which are Purdue, UNC Chapel Hill, Letter Writing Guide for Cover Letters. Also, for the assessments, points will be awarded by the following criteria: proper formatting and punctuation, accuracy, neatness, and participation, and they each will be 25% apiece. Evaluation. Students will provide feedback through a post questionnaire for the instructor. For instructional strategies, there will be a pre-assessment which will be issued to each student to assess their prior knowledge of a BBCL. The students will then receive handouts from the teacher along with internet resources, Moodle, and sample letters, as well as explanation of the BBCL. The students will create an email account, a Prezi, and Blogger account. According to the academic standards, the students will collaborate with each other as they participate in discussion, apply knowledge and information, as well as abide by the technology use. A post-assessment will be issued to be sure that they understand what is required of them. Now, the driving question that I hear quite often from my students is, what is the purpose of a BBCL? Well, a business block cover letter is always formatted to the left of the document, and the line spacing is easy to remember. Students just need to understand that a BBCL should always accompany a resume that is mailed, emailed, or physically given to a prospective employer. It invites a hiring manager to read your resume and tells him or her why you are the best candidate for the position and will make them want to learn more about you. The letter will make a difference in whether you will get an interview. You should always make sure that the BBCL is effective and does not duplicate your resume. Remember, it is your first impression. Students will also learn that this letter will answer the following questions for a hiring manager. Number 1, whether you have experience, skills, and abilities for the job. Whether you have the right attitude, interest for the position that you have applied for, and whether or not you can communicate, spelling and grammar, and the structure of your information. And lastly, are you a company-oriented person with their goals in mind? The student will then follow the steps to write a BBCL, which includes the letters. Their letter should always be typed and no more than 1 page. Always address the employer by name or by title if that information is available. The opening paragraph should state why you are writing. For an example, a job advertisement. Second paragraph highlights specific points from your resume and how it relates to the position that you are applying, and it explains what your contribution will be to the company. Closing paragraph should politely ask for an interview and thank the employer for his or her time and consideration for the position. Enclosure should list what you are sending in addition to the letter. For an example, a resume, portfolio, a tape, or etc. Your letter should be free of grammatical errors, should be printed on good quality bonded paper, and for assistance, you may visit the websites that were listed above earlier. Here is a reason why you should use a business block cover letter: for its ease of use. And all of the formatting is aligned to the left, and the spacing is easy to remember. Now, here's a sample letter format with instructions giving you spacing information and what should be included in first, second, and third paragraph, and the closure. Our next slide gives you an example of a completed cover letter. The Web 2.0 tools that I will be utilizing for this class project will be Prezi and Blogger. The students will also need to create an email account. Here's a brief lecture on how to get the students started in creating their accounts with Yahoo, Prezi, and Blogger. First, they need to go to the website, and we'll start with Yahoo first. They'll click in the address bar and they'll type www.mail.yahoo.com. Press enter or click go. Once they do, it will bring them to a screen that looks like this. What they'll need to do is scroll to the bottom and click create account. Once they click create account for Yahoo, here they'll have a form where they'll need to fill out pertinent information. One thing that the students need to remember is to always write down their password, write down the username and password so that they'll be able to remember it later. Once they complete this form, they'll scroll to the bottom and click create account, create my account. And once they do, it'll give them the username, and again, they'll need to write down their password. Moving on to Prezi. Now, I really enjoyed Prezi. I think the students will enjoy this too as well. Now, with Prezi, they can either watch a video here that will, a video tutorial that will tell them exactly how to create the Prezi account. But I feel that these are higher learning students and they will be able to read and follow through. So what they'll want to do is click sign up, which is well, first of all, go to the website, which is www.prezi.com. Press enter or click go. Once they do that, then they'll want to click sign up. Once the students click sign up, they'll go to the bottom of this page and they'll click get because they want the free account. Once they click get here, they'll fill in the details for creating their account. Now, moving on to Blogger. They'll create an account with Blogger. They'll go to the web address bar and type www.blogger.com. Press enter or click go, and once they do, it'll bring them to a screen that looks like this. They'll click get started. Once they click get started, it'll bring them to a screen that looks like this. Once they come to this screen, they'll fill out the information accordingly, scroll to the bottom, and click continue in order to move on and fill in the balance of the information. Now notice with Blogger, there are 3 steps here. You have create account, that's listed here. You'll have to, number 2, they'll have to name their blog, and number 3, they'll choose a template. They don't necessarily have to choose the template right now, but it is a good thing to go ahead and get that out of the way, and they can change the template a little bit later on. But these are the 3 accounts that the students will need to utilize in order to complete this class project that I have going on for them. All right. Now we'll move back to our tutorial. Here we go. Now, here's the class rubric that will be utilized for my class project. The categories consist of return address, spelling, and date, the inside address and salutation, sentence content, organization of paragraphs, and accuracy, closing, signature, and collaboration, and creating accounts for email, Prezi, and Blogger, as well as their use. Once that's created, the students will have a post assessment to follow through. With this post assessment, they'll need to make sure that they follow directions for writing their BBCL. The first inclusion is a heading, the address, and the date. The second inclusion would be the address of the person to whom they are writing. The third inclusion would be the greeting with a colon at the end. Fourth inclusion would be the first paragraph, which explains why they are writing, the name of the position in which they are applying for, and how they heard about the opening. The fifth inclusion tells why they are qualified for the job and if they've had experience or have taken any courses. The sixth inclusion, they'll need to make sure that they have the appropriate closing and most definitely say thank you to the prospective employer. Seventh inclusion will be the signature and the enclosure. Eighth inclusion, they want to make sure that the letter is polite and error-free. And ninth inclusion includes, we want to make sure that the letter is most definitely neat. Well, this concludes the video for my project-based learning in business block cover letter. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, my name is Josephine Wallace-Koonce, and thanks.